currently in our FlatList demo application. When the component mounts, we're going to make a remote request to the random user generator API. However, now we want to add infinite scrolling, which means that once we reach the bottom of this list, we're automatically going to make a request to the server, either once we reach the very bottom of the list or once we get close to that list. And in the actual random user generator API, we're able to do that with this page option, which we can pass to the API. And we're just going to say page 1 for that first request, page 2 for the second request, and so on and so forth, each time getting a new result of 20. So if we look down here in the response, once we do successfully make that remote request, we're going to overwrite the data and basically append the new results to whatever's currently in our component state. And that's what we're doing here. We're destructuring that the current data in the state, and then we're appending the additional results that we get back. So now we can actually go ahead and add the necessary props to our FlatList component. So if I scroll down here to the FlatList component, the first thing we want to do is say onEnd reached. And this is going to take a function, so we'll say handle load more. And the other thing we want to do is add an onEnd threshold. And this threshold is just going to be how close to the end of our list do we need to be before we make that next request. So at first, I'll just start it at 0, and then we can adjust it as we actually go on. So now let's write this handle load more function. Put that here. And this method doesn't take any arguments. And all we're going to do is say this.state. Okay, and what's important to us here is to actually update the current page number. So what we're going to say is this.state.page because it is the number, and then we're just going to add 1 to that, and that'll give us the second page, the third page, and so on. And with that, that's all we need to do, and once that state has successfully been updated, we'll pass a callback as a second parameter to our this.setState function. And once the state has been updated, we can say this.make remote request, and it'll use that new page variable we just set to actually make that new request. So if we save this, and then I go ahead and scroll down to the bottom of the list. So the requests are happening faster than we can keep up. But if you look down at the bottom, maybe, we'll give it a second, try and catch it. So what's happening is obviously we're loading more and more data. And if you're getting slow responses back from the API, then what would happen in the case of this application is we'll see a little loading indicator. So to actually fake that, let's go ahead and take all of this and put it in a little set timeout. And we'll just say it takes 1.5 seconds to actually go ahead and make that request. Save it. It'll take a minute to actually make that initial request. And now if I scroll down, you can see that loading indicator popping up at the bottom. And that's what this infinite scrolling is doing for us. And we can actually adjust how early it makes that request to our API as we scroll down by adjusting this onEnd threshold. So even with this 1.5 second delay between calling the function and making the actual request, we can go ahead and scroll down, and you can see that we don't often see the loading indicator because we're making the request before we even make it to the bottom of the list. So that's all you need to do to implement infinite scrolling while using the FlatList component in React Native. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to give this channel a subscribe for more React Native tutorials coming soon.